Welcome back to Andersen Acres. Today we're diving into one of the most important pieces of equipment you'll need if you're planning to drive your mini horse, the harness. The harness is what connects your horse to the cart and translates every signal you give into movement. When it's well made and well fitted, it's almost invisible. It just works. But when something is wrong, it can cause serious discomfort, accidents, or even injury. So let's talk about what makes a good harness, how to check its quality, and what you need to know before hitching your horse up for that very first time. Okay, there are some things that you should be aware of. A harness is not one piece of gear, for instance. Okay, we talk about it like it is. We say, do you have a harness for your mini? And you think of it like a dog harness, where it's one solid piece. But a horse harness is not one piece. It's really a collection of smaller parts that all work together. So let's break them down a little bit. So the bridle, okay, is a bridle. You've probably heard of a bridle. It holds the bit and gives you control of your horse's head. The breast collar or neck collar is the part that lets the horse push the load, okay? And I say push the load instead of pull the load because even though the cart is being pulled, the horse is actually pushing. That's what that collar, that big collar around the neck that rests on the chest, is for. It's so the horse is actually pushing the load because he's moving forward into it. He's not pulling it. The result is the cart is pulled, but the action from the horse's end is a push. Okay? Now the traces connect that pushing power back to the cart. The breeching acts almost like brakes, helping your horse slow or stop the cart when needed. Then you've got pieces like the saddle pad or the back pad, the crupper, and all the little straps that hold everything into place. Each of these parts needs to be strong, comfortable, and properly fitted, or the entire system falls apart. When you're shopping for a harness, you'll notice that there are a wide range of options for miniature horses, from very inexpensive beginner sets to custom made leather. The challenge is to find one that balances affordability with safety. Many budget harnesses look just fine at first glance, but they're often made with weak stitching or cheap materials. The last thing you want is for a trace to snap while your horse is pulling, or for a buckle to break mid drive. So always check the stitching, check the leather or the synthetic straps if you're getting synthetic, and recheck every time you use it. Think of it like checking your seatbelt before you start your car. Most of the time, nothing's wrong, but it only takes one failure to cause a serious problem. So protect yourself, protect your mini. Make sure you're checking. Now, leather versus synthetic is another choice you're going to have to face. A good leather harness is beautiful, strong, and can last for years if you clean and condition it regularly. But leather does require more maintenance. It has dust and sweat and moisture, and all those things can wear it down because it's exposed to those things. It's going to be, you're putting it on your mini horse. There's going to be dust and sweat. So these things can wear down the harness over time, and you are going to have to take care of it. Synthetic harnesses, on the other hand, are easier to clean. A quick rinse and they're good to go. They're practically perfect in that way. However, okay, they hold up to different weather and all that stuff. The downside is they're a lot stiffer, and sometimes the cheaper synthetics aren't as durable. So because a stiffer harness can just be harder on your pony, okay? Because it doesn't mold to him as well because it's stiff, right? So unless it's fitted really well, it might not meet your needs and your horse might be uncomfortable in it. Also, the cheaper synthetics are not very durable. So you have to spend a bit of money to get a good quality synthetic that's going to last you. Neither is better or worse overall, really. It comes down to your climate, your budget, and how much you want to spend on upkeep. Ultimately, leather will cost you more upfront, but it'll last you longer. Synthetics are cheaper, but you'll have to replace them. In the long term, they're almost equal in cost. Do you want to have to maintain the leather, or do you want to have to replace the harness more often? Is pretty much the choice you're going to have to make. And I am not a fan. Now, the really expensive synthetics are fantastic. The cheaper ones, again, they're so stiff that I don't like the way they don't really fit the horse properly. So if you're going to spend the money and you do want synthetic, go with a more expensive option that is more pliable. Those stiffer ones are not great. So now let's talk about fit, because we kind of sort of were talking about fit, but let's actually talk about it. The harness needs to fit snugly, but not tight. The breast collar should sit above the point of the shoulder without cutting into it. The breeching should rest around the hindquarters, not sagging too low or riding up too high. Straps should lie flat against the body, not twisted or gaping. If something looks like it's digging in or pinching or leaving marks after you drive, that's a red flag. That's too tight. Okay? Just like you wouldn't want to wear shoes that rub blisters onto your heels, your horse shouldn't have to put up with an ill-fitting harness. If you're going to go to the trouble of getting a harness, get one that actually fits him decently at the very least. Now, a lot of the beginner harnesses are built without much thought to comfort at all. They might get you through the very early stages of training, like ground driving, but before you ever ask your horse to pull a cart, especially a cart with weight in it, invest in a harness that's sturdier and kinder on his body. Pulling is hard work, even for a little mini, and he deserves gear that supports him properly. I always say you wouldn't ask Shadowfax to wear a kid's Halloween costume saddle and call it good. So don't skimp on your driving harness. Okay? Be prepared to invest some money into it. This is not a cheap hobby. If you want to do driving, you're going to have to invest some money in some good equipment. So be prepared to shell out the cash. It's okay not to drive your Mini. If you don't want to drive your Mini, just stay home and have fun. But if you're going to drive him, make sure you've got the right equipment. So what kind of harness should you get? Well, the two big categories are breast collar harnesses and full neck collar harnesses. Breast collar harnesses are the most common, and they're really great for light work or pleasure driving. They're simpler, lighter, and easy to fit. A full collar harness, well, these distribute the weight across the shoulders and the neck, which makes it better for like heavier loads or longer hours in the cart. For most beginners with miniature horses, a breast collar harness is perfectly fine. But if you dream of farm work or pulling more serious loads, you might eventually move into a full collar setup. So think about your goals before deciding which one to get. Okay? Is breast collar okay, or do you need the full collar? Decide before you buy it, because if you buy one and then you're like, actually, I need the other one. No, you've bought two. So figure it out before you go and spend the money. So now you've got your harness. Now what? Well, before every single drive, run through a quick safety checklist. All the buckles fastened? They all need to be fastened. Don't be like, I don't really have to do them all up, all of them. Are the stitches still strong? Check. Do any straps look cracked or worn or like they're going to snap before you get back from your little trip? Is the bridle adjusted so the bit rests correctly in the horse's mouth? Are the traces lined up properly? Spending 2 minutes checking all of this can prevent a wreck, can prevent you and your horse from getting injured. Trust me, it's a whole lot less embarrassing to stop before you leave the barn to fix a twisted strap than it is to fix it after your horse has bolted halfway across the field because something broke. Fix it now, okay? Pay attention. Take a look. Fix the problems now. So, learning to harness a horse can feel intimidating. Yeah, it can. There are a lot of straps. Okay, and if you've never seen it done, it looks like a puzzle. That's where practice and guidance comes in. When you do it the first time, go slow. If you don't have a human to show you exactly how to put it on, get some really good YouTube videos, watch them over and over again, and then watch them as you're putting the harness on. It's okay to pause, take a look, back up the video, and if you have a human, watch them do it 4 or 5 times, and then say, okay, I'm going to do it. Check me. Make sure I'm doing it okay. All right? You do want to make sure everything is working out. So if you can, a mentor or trainer who's done it before is best. Watching someone experienced harness up a horse and explain what each part does is worth more than a dozen diagrams. Remember that every mistake is a chance to learn, as long as you keep safety in mind first. So If you can't find a human to show you in person, it's okay to use videos and books and stuff, but go slow and don't be afraid to fix your mistakes. We all make them, okay? I have put things on backwards. Just take it off and fix it. It's not that big deal, okay? Don't get stubborn about it because he could end up hurt, and so could you. If things need to be put on properly and with care, okay? Here's the bottom line. Your harness is your horse's work gear. It needs to be comfortable, durable, and safe. Don't cut corners when it comes to quality, and don't be afraid to take time learning how everything fits together. Your horse is trusting you when you ask him to step into that harness, and he deserves your best effort to make it safe and right. That's about it for me here today at Andersen Acres. Do you already drive your miniature horse, or are you really just thinking about getting started? Drop a comment below and let me know what kind of harness you're using, or if you're still in the shopping state. Thank you so much for spending a little time with me today. We'll see you tomorrow.